No.
Take three.
Take three.
Yeah, we want to get the percentage of.
So how's it going today?
Completed in 2 hours.
Pretty
I'd
good,
love to
pretty
get
good. You know,
it
still
higher
challenges
than
with the
that,
telephony and
I think
some of the jitter
give it
and
to
that,
80
but
or
I,
90%
you know, we're trying to work on some
in
solutions.
2 hours or less. Would be, amazing.
What can I do to help you on that project?
Well, you know, it sometimes just kind of comes and goes. It seems like there's some ghosts in the system, and you know, we're trying to monitor it. Sometimes it seems like we're just getting there and we figure something else out. It's kind of like squeezing the balloon. We fix it here and it squirts out the other end.
I think we really need to
So
focus
have
a
you
lot more on
identified
training,
any particular companies that are
and hiring.
having this issue when you are moving
I'd love
things
to hire
around
some
or
more-
anything
some
like
people
that?
with a little bit
Yeah,
more
we've had
technical
a couple of them
inclination,
call, and
I know
I
we
think
probably
that's
won't be
a
able to
good
get
point.
people
We should probably
tech degrees and
delve
things
into
like that.
them, and you know, they
But
call up and
people
say,
who are
well,
really
you know,
interested
the
in
call dropped.
technology and
Maybe what I
things
could
like that.
do
And then
is say, well,
training,
what precipitated that?
you know, with our
What maybe
turnover,
led up to it?
our amount
What
of
did you
turnover is so
hear?
high.
Was there
As soon as
some
we get
noise
somebody
in the
who knows anything
background
about
or
our
something like that? I haven't
product,
asked
they
that
seem to
question.
be moved
So,
away, so we need to be able to.
how are you coming on
train
the
people
project
faster
to
or
predict
be
when
able to
some of
hold on
these
to them a little bit longer
issues
so
are
that they
happening?
can train
Have you had any
some of
luck
the new
in
hires,
coming up with a
and
model to
then
monitor
that'll help
this
increase our knowledge
going
base
forward?
too, where, you know, we can document it.
Yeah, I could probably use your help on
Really
that.
help people know.
I mean, I'm open to any suggestions that you might have.
what
My knowledge is a
they
little
need to
bit
do
limited
to-
in that respect.
One of the things that I was looking for was the ability for us to see a score on those calls. Have you been able to pull up and look at how Asterix does its MOS scoring or anything like that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
To help you out a little bit,
I think we need to focus a little bit more
should
on,
be given
again,
it a
that
score
technical side,
above a
get them to
3.5,
know,
then we know it's
maybe a little
good.
know what's going on
But
under the hood, so to
I
speak.
know, already in
so
the
that
call
they can,
quality report, we see the packet loss
be able to
and some of the
troubleshoot a
others,
little bit better and
but
know
maybe
a
you
little bit more
could
what's
do
going
some
on behind the
looking
scenes.
at that scoring that Asterix can do with it, and when we have two calls out of 100 that fall below a different deal, then we
when would you wanna
bring
do that?
the modeling in to start looking at why those particular 2% are failing, et cetera.
Okay, I understand where you're going with that now. And so we're just looking at, you know, the packet loss, now that's a good idea.
How's some of your other projects going, like the EU telephony provider?
Yeah.
You know, I'm working with purchasing on
I don't know
that,
exactly.
and I know that they've got, you know, some
think
ideas.
if
We
we
do
can
level
get-
3
again,
and a
if we
couple
can
other
just get
providers, and we're just,
People
I think they're
trained
worried
better,
more
I
on
think that'll be
cost,
a lot
and I'm
more
worried more on
of
quality,
my job.
so.
Yeah, that's
And be
a
able to
fine
trust
line,
those
isn't it?
people better,
So if you had to
maybe
choose
we need
right
to do some
now,
more,
quality
getting
versus
people
the cost,
to own
what
it
way are
a
you
little bit
leaning?
more,
Well, you know, I think
and
we're
to be
just
a little bit
launching
more
into the
reliable
use. I think I would go with
you
the
know,
quality, a
following
little
through
bit of the
their
higher
needs and
cost at
things
this
like that
point,
too,
just
so I
to say,
can
hey,
trust them
look,
to
it
do
is
it
good
too.
quality, and establish some benchmark customers to say, hey, look, this is pretty good stuff. And not that, and knowing that the technology is also going to get better, and as technology gets better, it's gonna come down in price, and then maybe we shift a little bit there.
If we do pretty well.
So I think you're correct. I think we do need to go for the quality first.
More of that ownership and that
And
personal,
some of the other things that we
connection with
we'll be
what
able to
they're
bring
doing, I
that
think
cost down
we could
is
really
after that
hone
first
in on
year, being able to renegotiate the prices when we know where our traffic's gonna fall out.
And I'm sure it's volume as well, right? Get more volume than the cost.
Yeah, that you are stating the truth there. With the low volume that we'll have to begin with, nobody's given us any kind of volume discount, and so that's one of the hard things I see in you doing those bids, is getting the correct information from the carriers with no traffic base to go off of.
Yeah, it might be helpful. I don't know
to get a
if
little more involved
we
with
have some
the team
local,
to help.
US carriers.
We've got a
that are
goal to
also-
increase
also
the
international
close
that we
time
might be able to
on cases
leverage.
from
and
50
say,
down to
look,
30 hours, like I mentioned.
maybe they can
That's
give us
almost
much
cutting
more.
it in half.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna require a little more
I heard
hands-on
that procurement
work
was
on my part.
going back and
So I'd
getting
love
a
to be able
lower
to,
rate deck from
get
our
a little more
US
involved in
providers,
that
and so
and,
I think we're going down a good path
and
there,
kind
and
of
so
direct that
if you
effort.
keep pushing procurement to do that.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
They sit just right next to me, so I can literally just walk around the corner and say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
So, I think, part of the takeaway here from our meeting today would be, next week, can you pull up and have some mock reports of the call quality that we're having and the things that you wanna add to make, stuff go forward? And then, by Friday, since we're on such a short deadline for the EU, have, a number one and a number two provider, that you've scored it all with procurement so that we can then present that to the executive board, what our recommendations are for going into the EU for provider.
Sure, so this coming Friday, you want the number one, number two, and the providers, and then next week with kind of the box scoring and things like that. So next, say, what, week from today on the other, is that?
Yes,
is that right?
that's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, that's doable.
Right.
I can do that.
Anything else that you, need dealt with?
You know, it's a pretty good day today. You know, it's always a challenge here. But, you know, some people are thinking, and I'm trying to zag, and trying to come together. And
Yeah, so are we talking
solutions.
that goal?
It's fun, but it's moving fast, isn't
Yeah,
it?
It is.
30
It is.
hours
It's
or-
expansion of the EU is exciting.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, it is. such
is
a
there
huge thing
anything,
to try to
that I
set
can
a
help you
few
with,
incremental steps to get
in
there.
your, for the next
So,
month
you know, maybe
to
we
help
just
facilitate
take
your
it
projects
10 hours
or
at a time
to
and
help
set a
you
goal to,
in your everyday
get
work
down
life?
to 40 and then down
You
to
know,
30
I think
rather
let's
than
just,
try to jump from 50 to 30
when
at
I
once.
come up with these
So that would
suggestions
be
or solutions
a
for
numerical
the
goal, and then we
telephony,
can set some goals on
maybe
how
let
to
me just
get
run them
from
by
50
you just
to
really
40
quick before we
on that.
actually sit down
I'd
and
be interested
finalize
in
them.
hearing,
Just
you know,
maybe
what you
maybe I'm
think
missing
on
something,
maybe some
and
of
then
those.
just touch base next week.
Yeah,
early next
please,
week.
more specific goals on how
grab
to
me
get there
anytime
rather than
that
just
you
the
can,
number.
find me available outside of
Okay.
meetings and I'll, help you out with that.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Great, thanks.
Okay, awesome. And I'm still recording, because I wanted, this, the only final piece, and there is this provide purpose for connection with future. So what kind of question did you ask in terms of, and you'll put this in your own words, because, you know, this is, I can tell it's coming naturally to you, but how do you see yourself fitting in long term? How are we doing big picture? So we want to kind of do the big picture question.
So,
I know there's a lot of good information.
I know you're fairly new here, but,
try to
how do you see yourself fitting in?
take
And,
moments to just
where do you see
engage
yourself
in the
in the
conversation
next,
about
like,
it.
6
Look at
months
that.
in fitting into the role that you've,
Like one thing I do
taken
when I'm
here?
taking
Great
notes.
question.
You know, I
That was a good point. I
looked
didn't
to
write
you
that down.
before you
Hold on
joined
just a
here.
second.
I've always been scrappy.
I know interview
So that's
and I
one of the,
trade off with John, so John
company
asked a
company
question.
values
I
there,
write down
and I
the
think that's
question
what
while
it
she
is.
was
You know,
asking
I
the
own it,
question, the engagement constantly going
and
back and forth.
I don't need a whole lot of hand
But I
holding,
know
but you know, if I
you
just
do
kind of
that.
maybe every once in a while just bounce an idea off.
And I
say,
notice
here's
it
what I'm
because I
thinking, and
look
then
a lot as
get
well.
your thoughts back, and then I can run with it. So I think in the next 6 months, we just
let's see.
keep that type of
So I'm gonna keep
collaboration.
my thought
It's great.
process right on the process, but
Sounds
we're
good.
gonna move from
Okay,
50
perfect.
hours